our Halloween menu, we are going to have squash soup. I have roasted the squash. It's butternut squash, and you just cut it in half and quarter it. It's really, really hard to cut, so you've got to put some muscle into it. I put it cut side down in a little bit of water in a roasting pan and put it in the oven for 400 degrees at about 40 minutes. When it comes out, you have to let it cool. When it comes out, the skin will literally you can almost take it off with your hands. So you peel all the pieces, and then you cut it up and put it in a bowl. Then we're going to cook it with some shallots and some cream, sage, and make a nice roasted butternut squash soup. So that's what we're going to be serving for our first course tonight. I've peeled all the squash and took off any hard ends or anything that wouldn't puree real well. So this is what's left out of 2 pretty large squash gourds. I've got 4 tablespoons of butter cooking rapidly in a pan. I have a shallot, a nice large shallot that I've diced up, and some fresh sage leaves that I've shredded up. We're going to put the shallot and sage in the pan in the butter. Oh, do that. There we go. Let that cook up. If you have a dog, your dog will really, really like the skin from those roasted butternut squash. The reason why you roast it, you can boil it. You can chop it up and boil the squash, but it's so hard that making 2 big cuts and put it in the oven for 40 minutes is a lot easier than cutting that squash up into chunks and putting it in a boiling pan. For me, it's just a lot easier to do. You'll tend to use squash more if it's less labor intensive. So that's why you roast it first. Plus it gives it a nice caramelized flavor, but that's sort of why you want to do that. So I'm going to cook the sage, the shallots in the butter. Let that get, now it's too low. There we go. And I'm going to let the shallots get nice and soft. Now that my shallots and sage are cooked in the butter, I'm going to add vegetable broth and some water to equal about 6 cups. You can use chicken broth, but I do have a friend who's coming over, she's a vegetarian. So I make sure that this soup particularly is a vegetarian version. So I'm going to add the vegetable broth right to the pan, 2 cups of water. And all of the squash. So put that in there, make sure it doesn't trace battery. There we go. All right. Leave that to cook. It's going to cook about, I'm going to let it cook for about 20 minutes. Okay, it is 20 after 5. My guests are going to be here at 6 o'clock. So it's time for me to puree the soup and get that all ready. Now this is the tricky part of squash soup because it's hot. I just got finished cooking it, but I'm going to puree it. If you have an immersion blender, you can stick it right in the pot, but I don't, so I'm going to transfer some of the soup into my food processor and then pour it back in and transfer back and forth. So there's a little element of danger. I'm wearing a dress. Probably should wear an apron, but anyway, use your blender too if you have a blender. That'll work.
Why, hello, Debbie.
Hello there. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
Good. I heard you pulling up in your fancy schmancy car.
Yeah, what are you making?
This is squash soup.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to make it, I don't like it in consistency of baby food, so I put cream in it and make it more soupy.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, we're having pork ribs, braised pork ribs, and squash soup, and roasted root vegetables. And Lisa and Scott are coming over, and they're bringing a salad and dessert.
Cool.
Yeah, so we got all kinds of stuff going on. And it's Halloween, so we have pureed the squash, and you can see that in there. Now, it's kind of the consistency of baby food. I don't like that. That's not soup to me. That's just mechanical soft diet that we feed our residents in the care home. So I'm going to add some cream to this so that it's nice and creamy and smooth with the flavor and the bulk of the squash, but not really the consistency of baby food. So when our guests get here, we'll add some cream. Ooh.
And that is something I got from Trader Joe's that was really good.
It looks fat, dearly beloved. Oh my gosh, it's a perfect theme. I know.
It's like a skull.
It's a skull. All right, wait. Let's bring, because we're filming. Here, watch. Look at this. Wait. Look at this wine. It's dearly beloved. 2009 red wine. That is amazing.
Probably don't even
Fabulous.
It's been a long
How you doing?
time.
Is it good wine?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I opened it and I gave some Scott and he said it was good.
Okay.
And then I drank the rest of the bottle.
That's good.
This doesn't work, does it?
No. No, we haven't
Well, it's leaking.
quite gotten to it yet.
Okay, well, you need to get to it now because it's leaking.
You broke it.
I did.
Look what you did. Scott! Wow! Great!
Scott!
We have a plumbing problem.
Wow.
Because it was.
You gonna call me? Paul, it's your house.
Paul,
I touched it.
Lisa broke the sink. That's funny.
Did
Oh
we
my
tell you, Did
gosh.
I tell you about the last time I was here and I broke your corkscrew?
No. When did you break my corkscrew?
Is that line for that?
I did not know that.
Yes.
But look at you.
That line for that.
See, he does this at my house.
Huh.
My
Okay.
son does that
Well,
too.
you know what?
He'll fix that.
Not my concern, you guys.
Not her. Wait a
I
minute.
got food to cook, all right?
Think
You
about
guys,
that, Paul.
you guys fix the sink, all right? I got food to work on.
Did
Paul,
it
don't
stop?
you have a shut off on this thing?
It stopped.
It did?
Well, no,
Oh, it
it's a
did.
little-
Yeah, no, it stopped.
It did?
It did.
No, there's still a little bit. There's still a little bit coming out. It worked for a little while.
Ooh, holy cow, it's good. Kind of dripping down.
Well, it's coming out so minutely now.
even though it's dripping down my face. I'm pretty sure Ansel likes drunken girls, but I could be speculating on that.
I think he likes drunken 25-year-old.
It's very possible. That's the thing, you know. Ansel's been spoiled his whole life. So I didn't film the part where I added a little bit of cream to the puree of squash, but I did. I added some half and half so that it looks like a really nice soup, and then I added just a dollop of yogurt, some plain yogurt. You can use sour cream too, but I used a little bit of yogurt and some shreds of sage, fresh sage. So we have a lovely soup here, and we're going to serve that to our guests.